All right, so Jonathan Majors finally speaks out. Somebody's calling me. I don't know who's calling me on the show. All right. Sorry about that. So Jonathan Majors finally speaks out. And he had a lot to say. I feel bad for him. He was a rising star, 34-year-old young man who was taking Hollywood by storm. And was in movie after movie after movie. And then it all came crashing down. And it's because the young lady he was in a relationship with, him and her got into an altercation that was that led to some injuries. And all of this is alleged. Well, he was convicted, but I'm still going to say alleged. That and again, it was a very unhealthy situation for the both of them. And he spoke out. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then I'm going to add some commentary about what I feel is happening with Jonathan Majors, and how we can avoid being put in positions like that, and what you can do to move forward. Because I really would like to see this young man succeed. I do. But he's going to have to make some major changes. And people are going to have to forgive him if that's going to happen. So let's take a look at this interview. Hopefully I won't get flagged for copyright. I'm going to be playing this at 1.25 speed. All right? So let's take a listen to this, okay? Fair use, guys. Fair use.
Your reaction to that verdict?
Shock. I was
Put one in the chat if you can hear it.
And afraid. And I'm standing there, and the verdict comes down. I say, how is that possible? Based off the evidence, based off the prosecution's evidence, let alone our evidence. How is that possible?
Now, I was shocked too, based off of what I saw and things that, but I didn't talk about this. I did not talk about this. I thought this specific situation, I'm going to wait and see how it played out and see what the court said. Okay. Now, again, based on circumstantial evidence, an innocent man can be convicted and a guilty man could be exonerated and acquitted. So I'm not fully confident in the criminal court system because, again, it's all about how you present the evidence and how the jury interprets the evidence. It's very subjective. It really is.
But after only hours of deliberation, a jury of his peers agreed with prosecutors that he did physically injure his then-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, in an incident last March.
What happened exactly? Do you know?
No, I don't know. But she's unconscious.
That 911 call from Majors came hours after an argument broke out with Jabari in the backseat of an SUV when Majors received a text from another woman saying, "Oh, how I wish to be kissing you." Jabari testified that when she grabbed the phone, Majors tried to get it back, fracturing her finger and giving her a cut behind her ear.
So I'm curious to know if this person who was texting him was Meagan Good. But again, a woman is texting him. And he talks a little bit about this, saying that, he admitted to her that a woman was texting her. This is the tail end of their relationship. She grabbed the phone and essentially trying to steal the phone from him and trying to get it back, I guess, things like this, according to what the story shares, that this is where she got her injuries.
Ear. She says inside the car, you hit her in the face,
Yeah.
twist her arm behind her back, fracture her middle finger.
Yeah, that did not happen.
How did those injuries come about?
And my apologies for it being low. I realized that as I'm listening to it in my ear, when he's talking, this part of the interview is on the right side of the speaker, so you'll be able to hear it on the right side of the speaker. And when she's talking, when she's giving commentary on it, it's on the left side.
I wish to God I knew. That would give clarity. That would give me some type of peace about it.
But you're confident you didn't
I have
cause
no
them.
question.
Surveillance video shows Majors getting out of the car, followed by Jabari, whom he then puts back inside the vehicle. What happens next is what the defense remains focused on. Majors runs off, and Jabari chases after him.
If you watch those videos and you reverse that,
And here's my question though, like what adrenaline is going through her body that she's running like this with a fractured finger? Like it's like if you have a fractured finger, it's gonna hurt. It's hurt. You want first aid. Like you want this fracture fixed. You're not just running around after the man who did it. I don't know. That's just me. But again, and I understand the pathology of people who have been in abusive situations, and they become. So I'm not saying that he's completely innocent here, because I read some of the text messages, and that they've shared prior to this, and he has shown the ability to be manipulative in that relationship. He has.
and you saw a black man chasing a young white girl down the street, screaming and crying, that man is going to be shot and killed in the streets of New York City.
Which is a good point. I think that's a valid point, that if the roles were reversed, based on how history has shown racial tensions to be, he would probably be in a very bad situation if the
Major's
tables
defense
have
team
turned.
shared these photos, which he says show the injuries he received that night, which were deemed inadmissible in court.
How were you injured?
My injuries were, I had a scratch on my hand, from clawing for the phone, and I had a gash on my, at the time I had a beard. Under my beard, I had essentially a fingernail scratch on my cheek from pressure, and that bled overnight.
But prosecutors say Majors was the aggressor. District Attorney Alvin Bragg says the evidence presented throughout this trial illustrated a cycle of psychological and emotional abuse. In court,
And I think that's where they got him, because the text messages and the recorded conversation that they had of him prior to this didn't make it seem like he could not have been the one who was physically abusive. Which is why let me share this. Let me go widescreen, okay? So, the Bible says, in it was First Peter. Well, the Bible says that we should dwell with our wives with understanding, and it goes on to say that we need to honor them as the weaker vessel, right? And in essence, still acknowledging the fact that they are joint heirs with us in God, right? But on honoring them as the weaker vessel and understanding this, men are biologically a lot stronger. The average man is biologically a lot stronger than the average woman. And Jonathan Majors is way stronger because he was in full-on bodybuilding mode for Creed, for Kane the Conqueror, and for other movies. So he's not no small dude. Like he got some build to him, right? You have to understand, gentlemen, that if you are in a physical confrontation with a young lady, your best bet is to walk away. Now, I know Whoopi Goldberg says that if a woman hits a man, she should expect to get hit back, which I understand that premise, because some women will abuse the fact that they are a woman and would beat on a man with the understanding that he's never going to hit back, because men are not supposed to hit women back, which I agree with. But if ever a man is in a situation and you are big and strong and she can't physically hurt you like that and she doesn't have a weapon, your best bet is to do what Jonathan Majors did and run. He should have did that right after he got the cell phone and left, and not try to put her back in that car. The video shows that, and it doesn't look good. But you run. And never go back to that woman. Ever. The moment she puts a hand on you, right, and then says something, yeah, go ahead and hit me, right? I know you're not going to hit me because you're a man. It's over. Do not be in that position, okay? And ladies, tell your sons the very same thing. Tell them not to let some women abuse them like that and pull them down. I'm just saying, okay? Run. You are bigger, you are stronger, okay? You don't need to retaliate in the very same way. I'm not saying turn the other cheek, but you better hightail it out there, because if the cops come, you're going to be the one off in handcuffs and not her, even if she's the one who started the altercation. Don't do it. You can cause serious damage, all right? All right, so let's continue.
court, prosecutors pointed to a previous argument during which he knocked a candle to the floor.
I completely lost my.
That's a good point, Brother Chavis. And I think leave a cell phone and file a police report. She stole my cell phone. Okay, I'm not saying to play this game, but yeah, like don't keep the physical activity away. Like don't touch.
My temper in that moment and threw it all on the ground. That's not something I would want lost my temper in that.
Alvin Bragg says the evidence presented throughout this trial illustrated a cycle of psychological and emotional abuse. In court, prosecutors pointed to a previous argument during which he knocked a candle to the floor.
I completely lost my temper in that moment and threw it all on the ground. That's not something I would want my child to do, and I did that. I absolutely did that. And felt.
He's admitting. And he's admitting that he got upset and he threw stuff off of his table and a candle fell on the floor. Now, here's the thing about this, and I have to say this to all of you. Men are, and whether you want to believe this or not, men are emotional. We all are emotional, okay? Everybody is emotional. But it's more acceptable for women to express their emotions, and it's considered weakness if a man expresses theirs. But here's what happens if a man isn't able to freely express their emotions. It gets bottled up. And then when they feel like they're backed in the corner, they need to expel that emotion somehow, and it comes out a lot of times as rage. Because the general population, a lot of women, consider it weak for a man to be emotional. We're emotional people. We have feelings, we have needs, we have the need to talk about our issues as well. But we live in a society where it's considered weakness for that to happen. And then if it doesn't happen and we're backed in the corner and we express ourselves with emotion through rage, now we're toxic. If you're in a situation, gentlemen, with a woman and she does not respect you if you share your emotions, it's time to end the relationship. If you're in a marriage and that's happening, you guys got to see a marriage counselor immediately. Do not be in a relationship with a woman who deems you weak for expressing emotions, for sharing verbally how you're feeling. Because what's going to happen is you're going to bottle it up. And then you're going to feel like you can't take it no more. And then there's going to be things on your dinner table during an argument, and you're just going to want to brush it off the floor or get it out of your way. And then you look like the abusive, crazy person. Because now you're finally expressing your emotions, but it's been so bottled up that now it's exploding. Which is what happened to Jonathan Majors, at least what it sounds like.
Prosecution also played audio Jabari had recorded earlier in the relationship where Majors encouraged her to act more like Coretta Scott-King and Michelle Obama.
I'm a great man. A great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. The woman that supports me needs to be a great woman.
There are some who...
So, I agree with his sentiment here. But I think he's feeling himself just a little bit. Okay? Feeling himself just a little bit. And I think he is way too dependent on the women he is with. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Way too dependent on the women he's with. Your greatness, a woman can help you enhance your greatness and become the man. Like, just the other day, I saw a video of somebody giving a testimony about Michelle Obama. And in the testimony, the lady shared that one time President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama was driving in a town, and they wanted to go somewhere to eat. And usually, whenever they want to go somewhere to eat, they got to call in advance, scope out the place. So they decided to go to this really rinky-dink, not hole in the wall, but a very small, quaint restaurant. And they sat down and ate, and the waitress came out and said, the chef wants to meet you, Miss Obama. And, President Obama was like, yeah, go ahead, go meet the chef, because he really wanted to meet Michelle Obama. So Michelle Obama went to go meet him. And when she came back, she said to Barack Obama, you're never going to believe this, but I used to date the man who is the chef here, head chef here. And President Obama said, oh, that would have been nice. Like, imagine you could have been the wife of the man who owned this amazing restaurant. And her response was, no. If we had gotten married, he would have been president of the United States. So, and some I got into a conversation with my brother CP the artist. He may see this differently, but it's a testament to how a man who is headed on a trajectory of success, when he has the right woman in his life, it'll only catapult him and add fuel to where he's going to go in life when you have the right woman. So I understand he's trying to say this here. He's trying to communicate this here, but he might be communicating it to the wrong woman, right? Like you're trying to make a woman what she's not, instead of trying to vet a woman and find a woman who's already that way. Because the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord, which means that the woman already has the qualities of what it means to be a wife. So when he finds that woman, he finds a good thing. And even in Proverbs 31, the Bible says, a virtuous woman who can find. It takes effort to find a woman who has the virtuous qualities. That's more precious than jewels, right? You have to vet a woman and find that woman. You can't just get a girl that you think is pretty, who's hot, who got everything that you want physically and say, you know what, I want you to be this for me. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, gentlemen. Okay? And he was in this position. That's his L. His L.
To question, especially in the black community, as you're probably well aware, that people were saying, well, why was he telling this woman to be like Coretta Scott-King and Michelle Obama?
It was me trying to give an analogy of what it is I'm aspiring to be. You know, these great men, Martin, President Obama, and try and give a reference point to that. One of the things I also say is, like, I need her in that case. I
also think that the world is, America is so racially sensitive that a black man telling a white woman he's dating, I want you to be more like Coretta Scott-King or more like, Michelle Obama is offensive. For crying out loud, universally, Michelle Obama seems to be an amazing person. Universally, Coretta Scott-King seems to be an amazing person. Why would it be a bad thing if a woman who happened to be white, who happened to be Indian, who happened to be Asian, why would it be bad for that person, for any person to encourage any woman to be more like Coretta Scott-King or more like Michelle Obama? Like, why is that a bad thing? All right, so we gotta be chill a little bit. Now I understand, like, I understand. I just understand. I understand what you guys are feeling, but let's just take it down a notch a little bit.
It's grace to make the same sacrifices that I am making.
In a statement to ABC News, an attorney for Jabari said in part, it is not at all surprising that Mr. Majors continues to take no accountability for his actions, adding, the timing of these news statements demonstrates a clear lack of remorse for his actions.
Do you feel you're not responsible for her injuries at all?
I shouldn't have been in the car. I shouldn't have stepped out of the relationship. I shouldn't have been in the relationship. If I'm not in the car, none of this is happening. If I leave the relationship, none of this is happening. If I'm man enough or brave enough to say, I want to see somebody else, or I'm done now, I'm not in that car. We're not here. I'm responsible for those things.
But none of her injuries.
I can't say that. None of her injuries.
Okay. Now there's a part too that I want to play real quick as well, because it goes into his dependency on a woman. Now, if you look at in history, great men, right? Great men in civilization, you'll see an amazing woman right by their side, not behind them, but by their side. Okay. Meagan Good is now seeing Jonathan Majors. And there's like an 8-year difference between the two of them, where she is older than him. And she's in his 40s, he's 34. And they're dating. And it's very close to when the situation happened. So I'm wondering if she was the one texting him. But I wanted to play this real quick for you guys.
Through it all, Major's new girlfriend, actress Meagan Good, has remained by his side, even present for our interview.
How would you describe
So she's interviewing him, and she's in the place. She's there with them.
your relationship?
She's an angel. She's held me down like
There she is.
like a Coretta, you know. I'm so blessed to have her. You know, the relationship is still fresh, but you know, I think I found her.
The March 2023 incident.
So can I say something? And this goes to my brothers. All right, this goes to my brothers. Okay. There's this narrative specifically in the black community that we want women to hold us down and be our Bonnie, be the Bonnie to our Clyde. And I'm gonna say this on behalf of black women. Why do they always have to hold us down? Why are we always putting them in position to have to hold us down? Why not us rise up as responsible men in society, and instead of having them hold us down, let us lift them up and everybody else in our community? Why is that always the case? Why? Huh? Why do they always have to hold us down? Either way, here's a situation where another Hollywood actress who was in a high-profile marriage with a pastor and had a public divorce with this pastor is now seeing Jonathan Majors in a time where he is being accused of physical assault to his ex-girlfriend, very closely to the time when they started seeing each other. This is a tough one because now their relationship is starting with a very traumatic experience. And in most cases, in a lot of cases, when relationships start with traumatic experiences, they tend never to work out. And if you look at Meagan Good's dating history, she's very accustomed to being with high-profile men. Jonathan Majors was not just on the come up, he was up there and going higher. So anybody like Meagan Good would probably look at Jonathan Majors and say, you know what, I really want to attach myself to him because he's going places. Now, just like he was saying, he wants a good woman to help with his greatness. I get that. But he's at a place now where he's at a low point and she's there for him now. And I don't know if he's emotionally ready to be in a relationship, especially going through this traumatic experience, because now he is emotionally dependent on her for support to the point where they've only been dating less than a year and he's considering her somebody like Coretta Scott-King. That's big. That's big. And I don't know the dynamics of the relationship, but I think when we rush into things very quickly, especially after a traumatic experience like the one that he's going through right now, it sets the relationship up for failure, because then they're moving from one toxic situation to another, to another, to another. My opinion is that Jonathan Majors needs to be alone. He needs to work on himself and develop whatever he needs to develop within himself to become better as a person. Accept the responsibility for the conviction and do whatever consequence the judge dishes out, the sentencing, and not bring her into this. I don't think he should bring her into this, but that's just my opinion here. That's just my opinion. But that's my take on this. I'm praying for Jonathan Majors, and I'm praying that things work out for him, because I don't think he's a bad actor. I think he's a brilliant actor. I saw him in the Quantumanium movie, Ant-Man and Quantumanium, and like, he played that role. I believed he was a villain, and I watched the Loki series, and he's an amazing actor. He is a true thespian. He is, okay? Amazing actor. But I think he needs to do some work. And I agree. I agree, Brother Chavis. I think he needs to really find himself and find Jesus, or find himself in Jesus, and allow God to do the work inside of him, starting with salvation. And I'm not sure what kind of Christian Meagan Good is, but if she's in a position where, and I'm not trying to judge, if she can be in that position to really share the gospel with him, I hope she does that, because he needs God. He needs God in his life right now, because it's going to get worse before it gets better. It is. Man, but those are the two things I wanted to talk about tonight. And I'm glad that you guys are rocking with me and watching, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. All right? I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. But, yeah, this is tough. This is tough. All right. I think it's time for me to end this live stream. But I do appreciate everybody for watching. So, with that being said, I keep doing that. Why is it? I keep pressing the wrong one. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. You guys are the true MVPs. Okay? You guys are truly family. And I thank you so much for being here. And shout out to the brother for the $10 super chat. Appreciate your support. And yeah, this is a tough situation with Jonathan Majors. And I'm praying for him. I want him to succeed in life. So prayerfully he succeeds. Okay. If you made it this far and you haven't liked the video, hit the like button right now. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification next to it. By subscribing to the channel, you are joining the Harrison Extended Family here on YouTube. That's what I call my YouTube family here, my community, my Harrison Extended Family. So consider joining us through subscription. And you can join us through membership by clicking the membership button down below, or go to patreon.com/Harrison Family Values. Now, if you are a channel member or a patron, whenever I shoot interviews, it will be live. If I have internet where I am, it's going to be live streamed, like uncut live. So you guys will be in the conversation live with whoever it is I interview. Even if I have a chance to interview President Obama, it's going to be live, and you guys are going to be there, and then we're going to chop it up and put it on YouTube for everybody else to see and hear. And so consider joining the channel, being a monthly supporter, and supporting what we're doing here, because we are about promoting faith, family, fatherhood, and manhood on Harrison Family Values, the podcast. What else? If you'd like to support the channel also through picking up merch, we have shirts like this, hoodies, and some of you guys I just got a check. A direct deposit, because you guys are buying up merch. Thank you. Like, that's how you can support the channel and get something in return. Some of you guys may be like, why am I giving you my money monthly? If you're not into that, that's fine. Buy a shirt, buy a hoodie, pick up one of our coffee mugs. Like, support the channel by going to the store down below. And I think even in this video, if you're watching on YouTube, there are merchandise down below that you can purchase. All right, so consider supporting the channel that way. Go to Amazon.com and search From a Fatherless Father to His Sons and purchase my book. You can support the channel that way. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just support the channel. All right, and again, liking this video will help with the YouTube algorithm, so consider liking the video. All right, so with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much, Chelsea, for putting it in the chat. You're on it, sis. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate you being here. So until the next upload, a live stream, I'm out. Peace.